Hear me?
Yes. Welcome to the Reese Report. I'm the mouth of the North, Andrew Reese, and we are back for week 5 of the NFL. I'm joined by Gilbay Santos, who looks like he's in hockey mode wearing that Devil's hat. We will be doing our pool this Saturday, so I'm sure he's in there studying, getting ready for the pool. The defending champ over there, looking to win his third title. And we're also joined by Jose Carlos Gomes, who's very happy about the 49ers win last week, although he's still not sure the reason they won, which we'll talk about later. Now, since you get a response from that there, I'd like to start off by thanking people for the response for our What's Bothering Us new segment that we just did. We got a whole load of subscribers and interest. We just reached 500 subscribers, a huge jump for us. Thank you to everyone for subscribing and watching our show. We plan to continue this with great content. We've got some people that have joined us from other countries. Believe me, all those people that are watching from those other countries, we're going to be doing the World Cup. So we're going to be talking about everything, not just Portugal, not just Canada, but all the teams. So if you're into soccer, we're going to be talking about the World Cup when that starts November 22nd, even though there's games at 5 a.m. I know some of us will be awake because we work at 5 a.m. So, we'll be watching that game and then going to work. So
Well,
we're
we
going to
won't
be
we won't be talking about Italy though. Remember that.
No, no, we won't be talking about Italy because Italy lost to Northern Macedonia. But
Shots fired.
I'll also be happy about not talking about Ronaldo, who's on the bench and where he belongs. But we'll
Oh,
we'll get to that.
oh, here we go.
Can't even get on the field for Manchester United. So
what's what's the point when you're losing already 5-0, putting him on?
yeah, well, didn't start, didn't get off the bench. I think that says a lot. But we'll get to that when we talk about soccer. Now let's get to the picks of the week. We start off with Jose, who has the lead by 7 games over myself, 5 games over Gil, and only 2 over Malfair, who's not on the show. He's lucky we talk about his picks at all because they don't come on the show. But I'm sure when he takes the lead one week, or if he tries to take the lead one week, he'll come on and start to show off. But we'll see what happens. Now we'll start with the Thursday nighter, the Indianapolis Colts, who really suck. I'm sorry, Barbosa. They're terrible. They go to Denver to take on the Broncos, who suck just as bad as the Colts right now. Gill's Super Bowl and MVP not looking too good right now. The Geno Smith looks better than him right now, playing for the Seabags. So because this is Gill's team, we're gonna ask him who he likes in this
I think Denver's gonna win.
one. Okay.
They showed Russell Wilson with that Vegas game. They lost, but he actually showed threw for like 377 yards or something like that.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns. He's starting to get into the groove. Gordon fumbled a couple of times, ruined their shot of coming back in that game. The fumbles hurt them.
Yeah.
Vegas really needed to win too, but Denver got hurt was off the fumbles, and I think Russell Wilson is starting to get into the groove.
Sorry about the shaking, guys. Jose?
I also like Denver in this one. Jonathan Taylor is out for the Colts, so that's going to be the big loss for them. I don't see them without any running game. I don't see them passing the ball around. The Broncos have a good defense. So I'm taking Denver in this one.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's in a lot of trouble in this game. No Jonathan Taylor, who fumbled the ball twice last week. Just when you think that they're going to try to run the ball, he has a terrible game, fumbles twice. Then it's left up to Matt Ryan, who throws a pick, and they lose another game at home to Tennessee. Denver is going to be all over Matt Ryan in this game, and I think Denver wins this game. And maybe it's the coming out party for Denver, who's struggled to start the year. I got the Broncos, and Anthony, who is not on the show, also has the Broncos. To Sunday, and this is a game that we'll talk about more on what's bothering us. But the G-men, who Gil hates, even though he wears their hat once in a while, go to play the Packers, a team that Gil hates to play against. We'll talk about last week's game later, and we'll get into that and what's bothering us. But who do you like in this game, Gil?
I think the Packers will have a tough time stopping Barkley. They did not impress me. They just sneaked out a win last week with New England. But I watched the interview Rogers did, and he said he wants to play long now because he likes the two kids. Might make him stick around for another 3-4 years, he said.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he's liking them. He's gelling. Still not confident in the Giants though, so I'm gonna go Green Bay.
Jose?
Tough game. It's gonna be the only way that you're gonna beat Green Bay is if you run the ball with Saquon. But I think the Green Bay is gonna stack up the box and they're gonna force him to throw the ball, and which they have good cornerbacks and safeties. So I'm gonna take Green Bay. They look
Yeah.
starting. Rodgers is starting to gel with his young wide receivers, and Dobbs is coming up making some big plays. So I'm taking Green Bay in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Packers. I don't even know who's starting for the Giants. Daniel Jones got hurt last week, and I think Tyrod Taylor also got hurt. So I got no idea who their quarterback's going to be. Green Bay, we'll talk about what's bothering us. Barely beat some guy named Bailey Zappi. That's right, Gil. Bailey Zappi. Or we'll talk about him on what's bothering us. But they should beat Daniel Jones, although Saquon Barkley against that run defense, if they get up early, Green Bay could be in trouble because their run defense is bad. So they better not let Saquon go crazy. So I would stack the box Green Bay and let your defense take care of the rest. But I got the Packers, and Anthony Malfero also has the Packers. Now we go to a game that's tricky because if you would have picked this game last week, you probably would have said Detroit's offense. They're not going to be stopped. They're going to outscore whoever. But then I watched Detroit lose 48-45 at home to Seattle. Good pick, Jose.
I called it.
Good pick, Jose. So now they go to New England, who looked better. Sorry, Lino. Looked better offensively. You have Bailey Zappi instead of Mac Jones. So this is a tricky game now. It's not that easy. So I'm going to go to Jose first. Who do you got in this one?
I'm just gonna take New England based on their run game and their defense. I think they have a better defense than the Lions.
Yeah,
and
that's easy to say.
Harris and Stevenson will keep the ball running and stuff like that. I don't think they're gonna depend much on Zappi, but he did throw a couple of nice touchdown pass. Well, the touchdown pass to Parker, so it was a nice pass. But yeah, I like New England at home, and especially against that defense. Detroit's defense is horrible, so I like New England.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm taking the Patriots. Like this Detroit team can't stop my grandmother, so like anybody can beat Detroit like this. Like they can score 60 points. That team will score 65. Doesn't matter. I'll take New England. It could be Zippy, could be whoever it is. It could be Donald Trump. He'll score on the Lions, man.
I'm gonna take Detroit. I'm sorry, I can't take Bailey Zappi. Detroit should be able to outscore New England. I haven't been impressed by New England's defense either. I just don't think New England's a good team. They have great running backs. They got no receivers. And I think Detroit finds a way to beat Bailey Zappi with that offense. I'll take Detroit. No faith, no confidence. Detroit can't win on the road. But I think they can beat Bailey Zappi on the road, even though he almost beat Green Bay, which we'll get into later. But I'll take Detroit. And Malfera also has Detroit. Wow, he took an upset. Okay, Detroit as well for Anthony. Okay. Now we go to a game we won't spend too much time on, although we will talk about the quarterback Pittsburgh, who finally got off the Trubisky train and is going to Kenny Pickett. It only took him 4 weeks to figure that out. But what a game to put him into. Yeah, you know what, Kenny? We're not going to play you the first 3 weeks, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to wait till week 5 and we're going to put you against the best team in the AFC. The Bills. Good luck, kid. I got the Bills. Jose?
I like the Bills too, but don't be surprised if the game is close because the Steelers play the Bills in tough games always. So don't be surprised if it's a tough game. But I like the Bills as well.
The other problem is no Watt, and Pittsburgh's defense without Watt is terrible. They lost to Zach Wilson and the Jets at home. Bills win this easy. Gil?
Yeah, I agree. I think Buffalo wins, but it'll be funny to see what Pickens, because this is a game to throw at him. Let's see what he can do. But I think Buffalo wins.
Yeah. No surprise here. Anthony also has the Bills. On to a game that you didn't think would be tough, but now it's going to be really tough to pick. We got the Miami Dolphins, who will start Teddy Bridgewater after the horrific injury to Tua. Here's hoping he's okay. Pretty serious concussion, it looks like. I've seen that happen before. And hopefully he's taken care of this time, and properly. They go on to take on the Jets, who are the surprise of the NFL right now. They have 2 wins that no one thought would happen. So they're 2-2. They got Zach Wilson starting now with some pretty good weapons on the team. So this is a tough one. Gil, what do you got in this one?
I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. I just think they're watching the Bills win. They have to keep pace with the Bills. I know the Jets have been playing a little bit better, but even with the Bengals there, Teddy was shooting some bombs down the field, so he can throw. So I think the Dolphins will win.
Jose.
Miami. There's the Jets were lucky to win those 2 games that they have won against the Browns, and last week in the last seconds they scored a touchdown against the thing. They've been lucky, those 2 victories that they have. And so Bridgewater is not like a downgrade from Tua, and he still got the weapons to throw the ball around to. And Miami has a better defense. So shout out to my boy Ivan. I'm taking the Miami Dolphins.
All right, Ivan, you're not going to like me very much here. I'm taking the Jets. Miami with Teddy Bridgewater, I watched them in the second half of that game. They were terrible. Teddy Bridgewater's not Tua. I don't think he can get the ball deep. Neither can Tua, for that matter. They're going to have to do short stuff. I just feel upset in this one. I feel like there's going to be an upset in this game. The Jets are not good, but they can pull upsets. And I think if Wilson can just, play a regular game and they can get that running back Breece Hall going, they can pull an upset in this one. Miami's defense is surprisingly bad. Their pass defense is like 30th in the NFL. And so I think the Jets might sneak one out here by surprise. So I'll take an upset here and take the Jets. Anthony has the Dolphins, so I'm the only one on the Jets in this one. To Atlanta at Tampa Bay. A game you think would be easy to pick, and it's still easy to pick for me, but might be a little tricky. Marcus Mariota was brutal last week. I don't know how they beat Cleveland with him completing 7 passes. It was like watching Jimmy G play against Green Bay. But they did win the game, but they're not winning in Tampa Bay against that angry defense that got embarrassed by Patrick Mahomes. I got Tampa Bay. Jose.
I agree with you. I think Tampa Bay's up for revenge from last week. I think their defense is going to come up big, and now Brady's starting to get all his weapons back with Evans, Godwin, watch out.
Yeah.
So Tampa Bay.
Gil.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Tampa Bay. For me, this would have been a closer game, maybe a trickier to pick. If Patterson's out, he's in the IR, so that's a big loss for Atlanta.
Yeah,
that's probably their best player on the team. So Tampa at home should take this season.
Yeah, Anthony also has Tampa. I'll say this: Marcus Mariota, you better start to learn to use Kyle Pitts. Like seriously, the reason why you're completing 7 passes is because you're not passing the ball to Kyle Pitts. You better learn to use him if you want to survive that game. But we'll see what happens. We all got Tampa Bay. Seattle, the surprise of the NFL, with Geno Smith leading the NFL in like passer rating and yards. I think he's like 3rd in yards, completion percentage, like unbelievable. They've had a weak schedule, but they go to play New Orleans, who hasn't been that great this year, who may or may not start Winston or Andy Dalton, for God's sakes. New Orleans has been a massive disappointment. They go and lose to Kirk Cousins last week after a double doink field goal at the end. I have no idea who I'm picking in this game yet, but I'll go to Jose, see if he has a pick.
They were unlucky, the Saints, last week against the Vikings. That double doink right off the crossbar, they would have tied up the game. Dalton didn't play that bad. I think Geno Smith, he's been doing good against Detroit Lions and the Broncos first game. When he played real good teams, he got bombed. He didn't do that great. So I'm taking New Orleans in this one. They need this win to keep pace in their division and for the playoff race. So I'm taking New Orleans in this. And
Gil?
Alvin coming back this week too, so that's
Right.
a big.
Gil?
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints. Geno Smith's not doing it on the Saints defense. Saints defense are gonna come out for a field day with Geno.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing against the Saints defense either. He shocked me this year with how good he's been, but it has been against weak defense. I'll take New Orleans too. But I'll say this, New Orleans defense hasn't really blown me away this year. They let Kirk Cousins beat him last week, so it's not like Kirk Cousins is some superstar. So I'm a little concerned. They also let Marcus Mariota run all over them too. So this defense hasn't blown me away other than their game against Tampa Bay. So we'll see, but I'll take New Orleans. They got to win this game. This is a must-win for New Orleans. So I'll take New Orleans to come out here with either quarterback starting. Anthony also has the Saints.
Is Geno Smith Italian?
That's a great question. I have no idea.
Who, Geno Smith?
Yeah,
He's black.
I know. I know
Doesn't
he's
mean
black.
he's not Italian.
It'd be the first black Geno that I've seen.
Yeah. Maybe his name is something else. Maybe it's just the nickname Geno Smith. But yeah, it's a good question. I don't think so though. To Houston, to the Texans, they go to Jacksonville to take on the Jags. Gil Santos had a big smile on his face last week watching that game as Trevor Lawrence turned into a turnover disaster. 5 turnovers, gave the game to the Eagles and made Gil look good again. So Houston, they made a nice comeback and it got shut down by Herbert to lose by 10, costing me a cover. Gil, Trevor Lawrence or David Mills?
Well, I told you. You're already telling me I was wrong, and then here's four fumbles and interception, 5 turnovers by him.
What
he
a
can't
disaster.
protect the ball. He cost the game, obviously, for his team. But obviously he's gonna have a good game here or there. But for a first round pick, I don't think he's a first round pick. That's all I keep saying.
Yeah.
But I will take the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. I
Jose?
I like Robinson's running game. I think
Yeah.
they'll run. And Houston's, they're just a flop.
Yeah. Jose?
These are one of those tricky games. Both shit teams. Jags got a couple good wins, but when they play good defenses, you see they get exposed. Doesn't have a great defense, but Houston can run the ball with Pierce but I'm going to take the Jags at home. I think the Jags have more offensive weapons and defensive weapons in this match, so I'll take them. I'll take the Jags.
Yeah, not if Lawrence does 5 turnovers, Jose.
Yeah,
Mills didn't do that great either. He threw for 3 interceptions against the Chargers, so it's not like they're both.
Yeah, I agree with both guys here. Jacksonville wins this game because Mills is worse than Lawrence. All Jacksonville has to do is run the ball in this game and they win. Houston's run defense is dead last. So run the ball. Don't throw too much with Lawrence and you win this game. I think that's what they'll do with Etienne and Robinson. And so I'm picking Jacksonville to win this game. Anthony also has the Jags. Oh, this ugly game. The Titans, who are the most unpredictable team in the NFL, they go to Washington to take on the god-awful Commanders with Carson Wentz, who should retire. He's a really bad quarterback and has been a bad quarterback for a long time. I'm taking the Titans. I just don't. Carson Wentz is brutal. Even with Tannehill on the other side, at least they've got Henry, and I can trust him. I can't trust the running backs in Washington. I can't trust the quarterback in Washington. Their receivers are okay, but they just don't have anything else. So I got the Titans. Gil?
I'm just gonna say Titans because I don't even have to explain. Everybody on the show already
No.
knows how I feel about Washington. So
Yeah.
I don't need to repeat myself.
Yeah, exactly. Jose?
Yeah, Titans as well.
And as you can guess, the Titan fan, that is Malfera, has the Titans. Well, now we go to the Bears. Owners of one of the worst offenses in the NFL, although they got 2 really good running backs. They go to Minnesota to take on Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. Another ugly game. 2 teams you can't trust. One with passing weapon and running, one just running. Both defenses are average. Jose, what do you got in this one?
Just basically just taking Minnesota because they're playing at home. They're both, like you said, they're both inconsistent teams. but Minnesota more weapons overall. So I'm just taking Minnesota, and they're playing at home too. So
Gil?
Tricky for me. I think they're both garbage. You know,
they're both garbage, but one team bet your team. Yeah, and they're tied with you guys for the first place in their division. They're garbage.
Jose, don't get me started because you have two
Yeah.
losses. We only have one. Okay.
That's
The whole
okay. Don't
to
worry
me,
about it.
this whole division is bad to me, including the Packers.
I'll just take the Vikings. I don't know why, but I guess they're home. I'm gonna take the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm gonna bite the bullet and take Kirk Cousins and the Vikings because Justin Fields is terrible. The coaching staff is terrible. Justin Fields is being set up to fail, and he's also not that good. So I'll take the Vikings simply because they're at home, have more weapons, and will probably get it done against Chicago at home. But when they go to Chicago, it might be a different story. But for now, I take the Vikings, and Anthony also takes the Vikings. To a tough game. The LA Chargers, who are also becoming, well, they're not becoming. Me and Gil know how unpredictable the Chargers are. This team's been unpredictable for the last 5 years, and that's why we call them the shitty Chargers. They go to Cleveland to take on the Browns, who, until they get their quarterback back, will also be an unpredictable team because they got Jacoby Brissett starting for them instead of who is going to start week 13, which is Deshaun Watson. Jose, Chargers at Browns. Who do you got?
I don't know, man. It's too. LA Chargers are like up and down team. Like they get bombed by Jacksonville, and then the next week they smoke Houston. Freaking Cleveland. Like if they don't run the ball, they're not gonna go anywhere. Like because Brissett can't throw the ball if his life depended on it. So I'm gonna take LA just basically because I have Herbert winning the MVP this year, so I'm just gonna take the Chargers.
Gil?
I think the Browns, if they play smart in this, they use Hunt and Chubbs on a 1-2 punch here, and I think because the Chargers are a bad stop the run team as well. So I'm gonna take Cleveland.
Yeah, I agree with Gil. If they get the run game going, they can beat the Chargers. I think the Chargers' weakness is stopping the run. So if they can get the run game going, that sets up the play action, which Brissett can do effectively. So I'll take the Browns, assuming they can get the run game going, and therefore will beat the Chargers defense, which has a lot of injuries right now. We're not sure if Keenan Allen is back, so that limits the weapons on the Chargers side. The defense in Cleveland is supposed to be pretty decent, although they've started off rough and without Myles Garrett. I'll just take the Browns at home, thinking they'll sneak one out here. Anthony has the Chargers in this one. I'm not going to waste any time on this game because we'll get into this when we talk about the 49ers later. The 49ers have the best defense in the NFL by a mile, and they're facing Baker Mayfield. I have the 49ers. Jose?
I have the 49ers, but this is like one of those trap games, like they're coming off Monday night win, going to Cleveland.
Jose, it's the best defense against Baker Mayfield.
I understand that there's been lots of times like that, and then all of a sudden a team comes up big. It's just one of those. I think it's going to be one of those trap games. Just based on the 49ers defense, I'm going to take the Niners, but don't be surprised if Carolina wins. I'm telling you right now. So I'm taking San Francisco.
Gil?
I think the logo should be changed in this game. If anything, if the 49er had a Carolina Panther, boy, aren't they in trouble? Baker Mayfield's gonna have a nightmare after what I saw last week. That defense is ferocious.
Yep.
One of the best that I've seen.
Yep.
The other way, Carolina just has to stack the front, stop the Niners running game, because even if Jimmy throws, he doesn't throw more than 5 yards anyways.
No, 1 yard.
So whatever. So but that Niner defense, you know what? That was very amazing what I saw last week.
Yeah.
Very, very intimidating.
Yeah.
So that I was very impressed with what I saw.
Two other things I'm going to predict in this game. One, this might be the last Baker Mayfield game we see for a while. He's either going to get hurt or get replaced by Sam Darnold. And Jose is about to set a record for fantasy points on defense.
Yes, that's guaranteed, Jose.
He's going to get like 20 points on defense this week. I'm telling you, 2 picks, 6 sacks, something like that. They're going to get like 3 points. So congratulations to
Hope so.
Jose.
I hope so.
I wish I could trade him right now for that defense. So we all got the 49ers. Anthony is also on the 49ers. To a game that, boy, you would have thought this is an easy one to pick, but it ain't anymore. Cooper Rush, 4-0 for the 49ers with that vicious defense. Speaking of good defenses, they're right there with below San Fran, but right there in the top 5. They go to the Rams to take on the struggling Rams with, as I've told you before, the most overrated quarterback in the NFL, Matthew Stafford, who's a turnover machine waiting to happen. They put pressure on him last week. He was only throwing to 2 guys. One is Gill's guy, Higbee, who I hope he started, and the other guy is Jose's guy, Cooper Kupp, with 14 catches. So I hope you guys started both of them. But what a disaster. I'll tell you what, I think the Rams are in a lot of trouble. They're already talking about bringing OBJ back. That's how much they're struggling right now. They're begging for him to come back. Allen Robinson has been a failure for them on wide receiver, and their running game is non-existent. I got the Cowboys winning this game outright because that defense is not messing around with Stafford, and Cooper Rush just doesn't have to make a mistake, and they win this game. I got the Cowboys. Jose?
This one's tough to pick, but I'm gonna take the Rams in this one. I just think they're gonna bounce back from that beating that they got from the Niners. I think they have the weapons. It's just that Allen Robinson's not playing up to his level that he can play. And that's a big key. That's a second wide receiver that opens up the game for them. And they just got to start rushing the ball more, a little bit more too, with Akers and Henderson. The Cowboys have good. They get to the quarterback with the pass rush, but their running game is a little bit weak. So, but I'm gonna take the LA Rams just basically just because of a revenge of after what happened on Monday night. So I'm gonna take the Rams.
Gil?
Yeah, I agree with Jose. I think the Rams are gonna win back to the drawing board. I think they have to stop the run on Dallas. Cooper Rush's Cinderella story. All I've known, Cinderella stories come to an end. They want to get Dak Prescott in there, so I think they'll lose, and then that'll give them a reason to put Dak the next week.
The only chance the Rams have of winning this game, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is if they run the ball. They have to run the ball against the Cowboys, who have a weak rush defense. If they try to go back and pass it 50 times to Stafford, they're losing this game. He's going to throw a bunch of picks. He's going to get hurt because that pass rush is vicious, and they got Diggs out there looking for interceptions all day. I'm glad I have the Dallas defense this week. Let's put it that way. If I'm going to have a defense other than San Fran, I'm glad I have Dallas this week. Going to be a lot of turnovers. Anthony also has the Rams, so I'm the only one on Dallas this week. So I'm either going to go really further down or I'm going to catch up. The Eagles, the most surprising, well, maybe not the most surprising team in the NFL, but there's certainly no one expected to be 4-0 and dominating like this. They go to Arizona to take on the unpredictable Cardinals. I don't trust the Cardinals. I trust the Eagles. I got the Eagles. Jose?
Eagles fly until Hopkins comes back to the Cardinals. They got flipped out one last week against the Panthers because the Panthers are shit.
Yeah.
But I'm keep going with Philly, man. They're riding high, good defense, good running game, passing game as well, going good for Hurts too.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's talking to him about MVP. He should be in the MVP race too.
Yeah.
He's been putting up the numbers to be in the MVP race. So I'm taking Philly in this one.
Yeah. Gil?
Yeah, Philly's been playing well, I believe. But if you look at the teams they beat, nothing really special.
No, that's true. They haven't beat anybody. Yeah.
So I think Kyle Murray's a mobile quarterback, just like Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have this feeling that this is the game that they lose. I'm going to take Arizona Cardinals.
Okay. Anthony has the Eagles as well. The Cincinnati Bengals, who look to be playing a little bit better now, they go to Baltimore to take on the struggling Ravens. John Harbaugh, I'm going to talk about you on our next segment. But for now, let's just make a pick. Gil, who do you got in this one?
Tough game for me. I'm gonna say, I don't know, like Baltimore just gets these leads and then they just choke in the fourth quarter, man. I don't know. I'm just gonna go with the Ravens. I think they'll win this time.
Jose?
I'm going with Cincy. I think Their offensive line is starting to play a little bit, gel a little bit more better. Last week they gave Burrows playing a lot of time to throw the ball, and he was picking out freaking Higgins and Boyd and stuff like that for long passes. And that defense, Ravens defense, has been horrible all season against the pass. So I'm going to take Cincy in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Jose. I got Cincy in this one. Higgins and Chase against that secondary is going to be a scary proposition for the Ravens. I think they outscore Baltimore in this one. So I'll take Cincinnati. And Mr. Mulfair has Baltimore in this one. To the Monday Nighter, the Las Vegas Raiders, who always find a way to play their best football against Kansas City, take on the Chiefs in Kansas City. The Raiders have been very unpredictable, and the Chiefs have also kind of been up and down this year, although they came out with the revenge on their mind to beat up the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week. Jose, who do you got in this one?
This one's the toughest game I think that I had to pick, because KC played well last week against Tampa Bay, but the other games before against Indy, there were a lot of turnovers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm taking KC. I got Mahomes in my fantasy, so he's my quarterback. So I gotta hopefully.
Yeah, you got Carr too.
Yeah, but Carr's on the bench.
Okay.
That's for the bye week.
Gil, go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. It's Arrowhead, prime time, loudest stadium. You got it with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going with KC. I'll say this: the Raiders' defense is bad. That's why I'm going with KC. But the Raiders, for some reason, every year they play in KC, they give Kansas City headaches. So I won't be surprised if the Raiders pull a stunt here. I agree with all the points about KC, but I will take KC in this one because the Raiders' defense is just not any good, and they're going to have a tough time stopping Mahomes. Anthony also has Kansas City. So those are our picks for this week. We are going to be back with What's Bothering Us, which will be a very fun segment that got a lot of great response from everyone. We thank you for that. And we're going to be doing that right after the show. We'll also have our locks of the week. We'll give you that as well when we come back. But that's our pick show for this week. I'm the Mouth of North, Andrew Reese. That is Gil Santos. And that is Jose Carlos Gomes. We'll be back with What's Bothering Us. But for now, we'll see you on the next Reese Report.